CPM, CTA, and other serious letters. We need to jump now, because if nobody waits, that means speed. I would jump already, but I'm still aligning expectations. That is targeting. And that is market correction. We do not have a team, which helps because nobody can interrupt the blaming process. They give me games to make, so later they can ask why I am making games. If I finish, it means it was easy. If I don't, it means I need to improve. That is communication, and that is support. We do not have a team, which helps because nobody can interrupt the blaming process. That is encouragement. That is communication, and that is support. Because everyone is VC or director, we do not have a team, which helps, because nobody can interrupt the blaming process. They give me games to make, so later they can ask why I am making games. If I finish, it means it was easy. If I don't, it means... And that is support. Because everyone is VC or director, we have a very supportive process, because everything happens to me at once. They ask for ideas, then punish the existence of ideas. If I start, it was unnecessary. If I stop, it lacks momentum. That is prioritization, and that is alignment. We work very efficiently here. They give me responsibility first, then context much later, usually never. If the thing works, nobody asked for it. If it fails, it was always my initiative. That is strategy. That is feedback. That is collaboration. There is no team, only a sequence of events happening to one person. They tell me to be proactive, so later they can ask who approved the proactivity. This creates clarity. That is optimization. And that is long-term support. We move very fast here. They give me a task, remove the reason, then ask for an update on the reason. If I understand it, it was explained badly. If I don't, it was already obvious. That is visibility, and that is retention. They say I have full ownership, which means the problem now has my name on it. I receive no help, because help would reduce accountability. This is considered empowering. That is documentation, and that is empowerment. The company is very flexible. At first, they let me work on my own computer because they did not have one for me. That is what they call suppress my progress request. The mockery is also to portus. That is what they call trust. Later, they gave me a company laptop, which was somehow twice as bad as my private one and could not even connect properly to the monitor. That is what they call progress. You monitor so credit squares. The company is extremely adaptable. Since they had no computer for me, they generously allowed me to provide one myself. Later, they upgraded me to a company device that performed like an apology and would not connect to the monitor without emotional resistance infrastructure. The manager always has the same fake smile, which means absolutely nothing. It is less an expression and more a default setting, like the face a person might have while doing something deeply stupid and calling it leadership. Everyone is a director, especially the ones doing nothing. The less they contribute, the longer the title becomes. Around here, director does not mean responsibility, it means successful avoidance of it, and that is leadership urgency. Everyone here is a director, which is helpful because it creates many places to send blame. The people with the biggest titles do the lightest lifting. This preserves the hierarchy. That is seniority. That is governance. And that is recognition. Everybody is a director here. It is a very advanced system where titles expand to fill the space left by effort. The people furthest from the work usually have the clearest opinions about it. That is alignment. And that is cross-functional leadership. And this job literally sucks. Fuck this shit. You might want to work here if you feel utterly retired.